Hello, hockey and basketball fans. My name is David. Thought I would start this video at 11:30 on the evening of Friday, uh, 24th February 2023, North American Eastern Time. Thought I would do is gonna try to get some light here. All right, that's better. Just try to let there be light. Okay, that's much better. So I thought I would do in this video is discuss various games that Canadian NHL teams have played this week. It's been a very mixed bag for Flames, although they did get 3 out of a possible 4 points out of their recent set of games on consecutive nights. First one in Tempe in Arizona against the local Coyote squad. Was fell asleep early. Down 3-1 at one point, ended up winning 6-3. Last night it was had a lead 3-1 going into the third period, blew that one, and 42 seconds into OT, ended up losing it. A not so good line change by Michael Backlund, ending up having done the Flames in. It's not clear the Flames will be seeing playoff action, I'd say. To anyone who claims that, there may be so-called experts who claim that, these Flames have a 60% chance or so of seeing playoff action, don't believe those experts, folks. I believe the Flames have a 50-50 chance of getting in. At best, given how not so good they performed. So, yeah, it's I also think of the now I'm going to go to games that took place on Friday. The Habs definitely went to town on the Canes, or the Flyers, 5-2. And, to be fair, I'm just going to throw this bottle in the recycling. Just get in there. It's kind of filling up a little bit. I'll take care of that later, but yeah, 5-2 over the Canes, or excuse me, the Flyers. Didn't get to watch that much of the game. The watched Leafs ended up beating the Wild in a very close game, overtime. Will Nylander having scored an unassisted goal. Should have to figure out what it is. All right, let's just see. All right, yeah. Alright, so just going to go to Leafs. Just going to recap at what point in overtime Leafs ended up winning that game. Let's go to the Sportsnet page here. And just going to try to get that there. Alright, Alright, so it's going on. Yeah, okay, so a bit over a minute in. Will Nylander, unassisted, ended up, winning that game for the Leafs. Huge relief. Leafs can't take for granted their position. Yes, home ice advantage can be overrated. It's been a mixed bag in the postseason. 2000, indeed, during those playoff series that have taken place following the 2020 Scotiabank Arena bubble, the Leafs have a tie record at home, 3-3, 3 wins, 3 losses. How is it? We do not home on the road. Leafs have played 6 road games following the Scotiabank Arena bubble of 2020, when COVID was a lot worse than it would end up being. But at home, Leafs have played 8 games, ending up having lost 5 of them. So 3 wins, 5 losses at home. So again, I think it's more to do with getting ready. And Leafs did manage to win a game despite having scored just 2 goals. It's also encouraging Leafs only gave up 1, a rather ugly one, given up by Ilya Samsonov. But again, it's just I look at the game and let's go see how many shots there were here. The Wild ended up outshooting the Leafs 25-24, but it was just definitely the power play just was not very good. PK was, well, at least had only one penalty to kill. One shorthand situation, which was a tripping call at the very end of the, the kind of very end of regulation. But yeah, it was like a momentum killer. I mean, it did look good. So now I'm going to go to the Jets. And, before I go to the Jets, blowout loss to the Avs. I thought I would do is, before I go, I thought I would mention also the Canucks earlier last night. Came back from a 2-0 deficit to beat the Blues in overtime 3-2. Rather late in overtime, but a win to win. And when it comes to getting ready for next season, I think the Canucks have taken some steps in the right direction, but they've still got work to do. They're probably not going to qualify for the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs, and even if they do, blue line is just so messy that I don't see the Canucks advancing beyond the first round. As unlikely as it is that the Canucks will even get into a postseason. So now let's go to the two games played by those Canadian teams that lost their respective games. Sens were just shut out. It was 4-0. I'm just going to go to the Sportsnet page and, because the Leafs game was so close, I just glanced every now and again to the Sens game, and yeah, it was all Canes all the time. And let's see if let's see here. Did the Sens use their second goalie? No, they didn't. So yeah, Cam Talbot was assigned to start. With Mads Sjogard assigned to back Talbot up. Antti Raanta started for the Canes, and Raanta was so perfect, stopping all 32 shots he faced in that shutout. Talbot stopped 26 of 30 that he faced, but again, Sens didn't score, so no surprise there. And yes, thought I would go to, I also watched the Game Over Winnipeg show on the SDPN YouTube page. Liz Hood having hosted that post-game stream, and I commented extensively that it was ugly. Hellebuck allowed 2 goals. That, upon my own review, the first and the third Avs ones, that I determined had been ugly, that he should have stopped. I missed much of that game. Watched the third period, a bit of the second period of it. After the Leafs had won their game in overtime, I thought, why don't I check out the Jets? Sens game ended. The Habs game had also ended. So then you went to, kind of slip around all different post-game streams on the Sportsnet page. Hosted, with that Sportsnet stream, having hosted by Justin Bourne, co-host of the daytime Real Kipper and Bourne show on Toronto radio station, the Fan 590, and Sam McKee, the producer of that show, Leafs Talk, hosted by those two personalities from that daytime show. Yeah, very close game. Leafs didn't have a lot of room for error because they ended up scoring only twice. But again, just Nylander was so important, assisting on the Leaf goal that David Kampf scored, and scoring a goal of his own in overtime, a bit over a minute in. But my God, these Jets just, and you wonder, like what happened here? Thought I would do is look at the standings, see if they've been updated. All right. Why don't I go to where the all right, let's see where the NHL standings are. Just going to see here, and just going to see what's up with the standings here. Just going to Oh, what's going on here? Oh, let's just. Oh, come on. Oh, let's just go. Ah. Hate this. Excuse me while I wait for this here. Just going to go to the wildcard standings here and just going to see where the various Canadian teams stand with those games that such teams have played that started on Friday Eastern Time having ended. So we go to the Leafs. Won 2 straight games. The Leafs are still vulnerable to being knocked out of second into third. But in terms of the wild card, in terms of where they are in relation to Sabres and Wings, it's 64 points, so 16 ahead of the Wings and Sabres. Tampa Bay Lightning are 4 points back of the Leafs, so I think the only question going to be for the Leafs is, well, yeah, probably whether they finish second or third in the Atlantic. Sens have lost 2 straight games, and they are slipping fast. They're 6 points out. Yeah, they have games in hand on some teams, but things are tightening up. So let's see what happens. But these Sens just are not, they were shut out of the Habs. Still got a ways to go. Yeah, 10 points out. But yeah, good luck getting them in. So let's go look at the Central. Ooh, it's not looking too good. 71. Oh, 70. 69. Oh, that's not looking too good. Yeah, I mean, the others aren't the most secure in the world in terms of Canadian teams, but I'll get to the Pacific Division in a moment, but I'm going to see where the Central is. Preds seem to be slipping, seem to be quite a ways back. So they're slipping. So for the time being, it looks like the Blues are, they're way back. It doesn't look too good. It just still doesn't look too good for the Blues. So realistically, I looked at the Jets, and the Jets could slip into a wild card spot. The Flames are being in action on Saturday against the Avs, but will not get into a playoff spot because, well, the Kraken have done too well, but yeah, I've done too well lately, but my goodness. These Jets they're not doing too well. The Oilers, haven't done great the last 10, but, in terms of strict wins and losses, but they've gotten those points. The Jets are slipping. And are slipping fast. Ugh. What I would do is now go to games that are scheduled to take place on the weekend, and perhaps in the next week. I'm just going to go. Alright. Hate this. Alright. So I'm going to go to games scheduled to take place on Saturday Eastern Time. Just give me a moment here. I'm not sure what's going on. Alright. Let me just... Alright, so we're going to go. It's going to... Alright, so let's go to these games here. It's going to be a rather crazy set of games. So we have very early on in the afternoon Eastern Time, Blue Jackets hosting the Oilers, Sportsnet West. Sens and Habs. 7 Eastern on Saturday. Then we look at the Canucks, Sportsnet Pacific, Flames on various Sportsnet channels, regional ones, much later on. So, I'm trying to see if I can get some Canucks action in there. Maybe I'm going to switch between the Sens and Canucks games. Particularly focus on whether the Canucks end up winning. So now, it'll be a much lighter slate of games on Sunday. We have, in terms of Canadian teams, the Jets hosting the Isles. So it's an mid-afternoon start, Eastern Time. Leafs and Kraken. It will be a evening start, but locally in Seattle, 4 Pacific Time broadcast both scheduled to begin. And then we go on Monday. Just give me a moment here. We have quite a small slate of games, but with 3 Canadian teams, the Sens, Canucks, and Oilers in action. The Sens and Oilers at home, the Canucks away. On Tuesday, it'll be the second of a back-to-back with the Sens and Wings making up for the game that was postponed because of a snowstorm that had hit southeastern Ontario. Canucks be taking place in Sportsnet Pacific, Bruins and Oilers on Sportsnet West. It's going to be interesting flipping between the games, particularly if at least one, of the Canucks stars in Bruins Oilers games can only be viewed via NHL Center Ice due to regional blackouts. Yeah, okay, that there. Alright, then I'll go to Tuesday, and then we have Bruins. Alright, so we have on Tuesday. Yeah, we have Wings and Sens, Jets hosting the Kings. So with those Sens and Jets games on TSN, separate TSN channels, Flames and Bruins, and then we have Habs and Sharks later on. It's going to be quite a few Canadian teams action. And then we go to Wednesday, and then we have the Oilers hosting the Leafs, and that is it. To be determined what the sports channels are going to be. Then we go to Tuesday, and go to Thursday. We have in terms of Canadian teams, Sens on Broadway to play the Rangers, Leafs at the Sound Dome to play the Flames, the Wild, the Canucks hosting the Wild, the Habs away against the Kings, and that's pretty much it. So it's kind of a back-to-back set. Then on Friday we have Oilers hosting the Jets, the Habs still in the Greater LA area playing the Ducks, and then we go into next weekend. Where we have let me see here if we can get them to display properly. We have the Leafs playing the Canucks at Rogers Arena. And in terms of Canadian teams, we have the Sens hosting the Blue Jackets. And then much later on, the Flames hosting the Wild. Oilers, Jets hosting the Oilers. And then we go on the 5th of March. As far as I'm going to go, we have the Habs in action against the Golden Knights in Southern Nevada. More specifically, Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. So overall, it's very entertaining games to watch. I mean, they're not Leaf ones, so to me, it's just a matter of have fun if the team wins, tell them want fun if the team loses. I follow all Canadian NHL teams year round, although I am from during the preseason and regular season, a fan only of the Leafs, or typically only of the Leafs, I do look forward to hopefully seeing a non-Habs Canadian team win a Stanley Cup. I respect very much the Habs' record of Cup wins, whether during the original Six era or afterwards. Just hope for another one of those teams to win, one of those non-Habs Canadian teams to win a Stanley Cup, because the Habs won so many, whereas no other Canadian team has won anywhere near as many, following the 1966-67 season. That said, I won't stop following Canadian teams just because just because a lot of them haven't been doing great at times this season. That being said, it's going to be, indeed, I'm entertained. It's very intriguing which teams make it to the postseason. At this point, between the Oilers and Jets, I see the Oilers as more likely to see playoff action. Yes, Jets can turn things around, but man, oh man, things are getting tight in the Central Division. And the Jets just have so many changes they got to make, it's hard to know where to start. But again, let's see what happens to Kevin Cheveldayoff, and whether if the Jets do get in but end up losing their first round series, whether he gets a say or whether he's going to have to go. But if the Jets miss the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs, it'll be the second consecutive season during which they've missed, and it may very well be that Chevy, you call him for short, will be in trouble. In terms of, he has a GM job in Winnipeg, no more. On that note, I'm going to wrap things up. If you like the video, click that. I also invite anyone who wants to receive more timely notifications of release of videos of mine to subscribe to my channel. On that note, I'm going to say, as the clock approaches midnight Eastern Time on Friday, 24th of February of 2023, I'm going to say goodnight, and go Leafs go.